too much of that. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to start with basketball. We're going to start with tonight. Then we're going to get to Purdue, Tennessee, and the vomitorium of the other games. The chronological clock is ticking like this tonight. Michigan State, LSU, UNC, Auburn, Duke, Virginia Tech, Houston, Kentucky. Blue Bloods, Timmy, and you are our bluest of blood here. We'll start with you. Who should feel best going in? Who's got some work to do? How was tonight won?
Duke should feel the best, and I know that wasn't obvious from last Sunday.
It was not.
But I think actually having lost to Virginia Tech helps them. Coach K can use that as motivation, and they all know Zion Williamson didn't play in that game. I think they're going to be fine. But Michigan State is the team that's in trouble. LSU is not a team that got a lot of love in brackets, and I don't want to make this a large discussion about people's brackets.
Okay, I think you're already doing that,
I will say this. Here's what people slept on. Kentucky and Tennessee are 2 seeds. They didn't win the SEC during the regular season. LSU is the team that went 16-2. LSU is the team that beat Tennessee and Kentucky both times they played them. They're the team scoring all these points in the paint and defending.
You like LSU tonight?
And they're going to beat Michigan State.
You like LSU tonight. All right.
Yes, yes.
Mina Kimes, you want to chime in here?
I'm going chalk with the caveat. I like LSU, but I think this is the game where the absence of the coach comes to haunt them. Michigan State's been really good in the second half. UNC, most complete team in the tournament, has the size and length to win. Duke, I was at the Duke-UCF game. I saw there is a formula to beat Duke.
Reporting on the show.
But I do not believe Virginia Tech has the ingredients to force them to the perimeter. Now, the team with the caveat, I think they're going to win. I think Kentucky's going to win, but if P.J. Washington is limited or doesn't play at all, I think his post presence will be sorely missing, and then I think Houston can pull it out.
Caveat emptor. Clinton Yates, a little Latin.
Yeah, I mean, the ingredient to beat Duke is to have a 7'7" guy who's distracting everybody. I don't think any other team can put that together. But for me, it's Kentucky who's going to go down. Listen, Houston has incredible defense. What they put teams through for 40 actual minutes is incredible to me. They're not that big. They don't have a player over 6'8", but they're very athletic. So while they have a little bit of a disadvantage from a height standpoint, what they do from defense is really good. And at the end of the day, I love it when experienced coaches get this far in the tournament. A lot of people don't necessarily know who Houston is, but Kelvin Sampson has been around this block. I think they beat Kentucky tonight.
Okay, Calipari has been here as well. He's got some experience. But let that be said. Sarah Spain, how about you?
Yeah, they're not big down low like Clinton Yates said, but they've got muscle and they've got length down there. They lead the league, or I guess the country, not the league. They lead the country in field goal percentage defense and three-point percentage defense. And like Mina said, if they don't have P.J. Washington contributing that much, they could use him down low to battle against those guys. I still think I'm going chalk tonight, and I think Mina pointed out UNC obviously is the one I'm least concerned about. They should be the most confident, but I think the biggest challenge comes to Kentucky.
Right, you don't have to apologize for picking the favorites on this show. We'll just look at your bracket and make sure you had those picks in your bracket as well.
Which bracket? Which bracket?
Okay, yes. Clinton Yates, something he said about Houston, they play defense for the actual 48 minutes. Is there any other kind of 40 minutes? I mean, what are you talking about?
No, but we've seen
virtual
this
reality
40 minutes of hell. We've seen this 40 minutes of hell type philosophy. You know, the old Arkansas teams did it. Listen, it's not easy to beat Houston. They've held all the teams they played under 60 points, so scoring daggone near 80. Trust me, it's a different look.
Well, if they're playing 40 minutes of hell, it's hot over there, isn't it, Clinton Yates? Oh, yeah, it is.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, nice.
We'll move on. Purdue in the Elite Eight for the first time in 19 years. How they got there, Klein was absurd in the second half. Carson Edwards is a beast, just completely. But it all came down right here to the last play, right? The extra timeout Purdue got when refs went to the monitor, the full 4 3/4 seconds, if not more, inbounding the ball. Edwards elevating, Turner elevating outward to defend, and the whistle here. So the foul call, I'm going to ask you to start. Is it legit or is it illegit? Did Tennessee get robbed? Clinton, you want to start off?
It was a legit call, but I don't think Tennessee got robbed, and the reason is this. They had the ball again. I don't know what Rick Barnes is doing with 1.7 seconds left, setting up another shot in a tie game. If you had an opportunity like that, let the kids go to the rack. I don't understand this. It's tied. You have all the opportunity. It's not even that much pressure. They botched this after Purdue caught a couple of good breaks. Great game.
Wait, you're talking about that 1.7 seconds, how they inbounded to midcourt, then tried to call time, and then had no time.
Yes.
You would have preferred a half-court shot, and that would have made everything right with this game? Or
I would have preferred something that got a shot up in the time that was already allotted. It's only 1.7. You got to give these kids a chance.
Take me back to the foul call here, Sarah Spain. Are you making that whistle on the floor?
I am, because you got to make the right call regardless of circumstances. Beginning of the game, end of the game, game on the line. That's the right call. You have to leave room to land, and he didn't. They got it right.
Tim Kalishaw?
I don't know if he actually got him with his hip or not, but it doesn't matter. It's not a smart play. I mean, just jump up in front of him. He's like 3 feet past the line out there. It's a very difficult shot. I know Edwards is good, but he was catching a quick catch and shoot from the corner is very difficult. If he misses the shot, the game is over. Just don't foul him.
Mina Kimes?
Yeah, I hate that such an amazing game ended this way, but it was the right call. If he's still in the air, he's still a shooter. You can't do that.
If it wasn't called, are we leading the show today with, whoa, did Purdue get robbed? Wasn't he slightly bumped on his hip and not given a play? Are we really doing that? I don't know. I think it's one of those calls that go either way. Plus, I mean, this happens all the time, but that extra timeout a team gets when we have to look at the monitor, I mean, yes, there's no control over when that happens or when that doesn't. And that is a real advantage, and that's what Purdue got at the last second there. Purdue, Virginia now. Does anybody want to gaze back upon Virginia 53, Oregon 49? I don't think. Okay, fine. So Purdue and Virginia tomorrow. Who's the favorite in this one, Tim Kalishaw?
I mean, for me, Purdue is the favorite. I don't know that that'll be the case. I'm just saying I think they've played better basketball. They were kind of a one-man show on the perimeter with Edwards, as you talked about, until Ryan Klein got going with some amazing shots last night. And I think there'll be carryover there. Now he's a dangerous guy for Virginia to deal with. Virginia had a lot of trouble beating a 12 seed. And the 12 seed took a lot of bad threes in the last 2 minutes, or the 12 seed would be playing Purdue.
Wow, I'm getting reaction from Mina Kimes and Clinton Yates. They are flummoxed. They are befuddled with Kalishaw's response. Mina, you can go first.
I'm flabbergasted.
Oh, yes,
Virginia should absolutely be the favorite. Virginia is the team you want your sister to date, right? Because they're consistent. They take it slow. They don't really have any weaknesses. Everybody talks about the defense, but they're actually the second most efficient offense in college basketball behind Gonzaga. And when they've lost, it's purely because they've played more talented teams, Duke, or the other team, FSU, had an amazing shooting night. That's the only way Purdue wins this game, if Ryan Klein goes supernova again. Otherwise, I don't think they can.
So Virginia is the team you want your sister to date. Who's the team you want your sister to marry, Mina?
Gonzaga, because I picked them to win.
Okay, fine. Clinton Yates, on Kalishaw, please.
Committed.
Your befuddlement
Consistent.
here.
I'm just going to say we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater in terms of why Virginia is good.
You can't do that.
This is what they do. They slow the game down. They spread out their scoring. They're still a 1 seed. I mean, listen, I understand that because they got tossed in the tournament last year, we don't have the body of work to see what they would do, but this is what we expected in terms of how they were going to get to this point. There's no way that I think that they're suddenly going to, be caught by a hot Purdue team who I thought was a little bit overseeded anyway. I trust Virginia, and I trust this system from Tony Bennett.
And Sarah Spain.
I feel bad for Mina's sister because she doesn't want her sister to score and she wants her to not be dating anyone that's aesthetically pleasing. But that being said, I still think UVA is the favorite. #1 in Ken Pom overall ratings. This is a team that has played this way all year, and that's how they've been successful all year. Just because we don't like watching it, and just because when other teams play separate, independently of UVA, they look better. Let's see how they look against UVA. The reason that they're so successful is the style that they play. If they get behind, you always have to worry about them. But you're not expecting Ryan Klein to have the game of his life again.
He could,
and Carson Edwards probably won't be enough on his own.
But you're right.
So to me, it's still UVA.
You have to judge people on how they look against UVA, which is what you always say. You have to judge people how they look against Tim Kalishaw. Tim, everybody's coming for you here. How do you respond?
I don't understand it. I'm fine if I had a sister if she would party responsibly with Purdue. Carson Edwards is this tournament's Steph Curry. He's scoring 25 after 25 after 25. He gets it done.
I don't know what we're doing with this show today, whether we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater or if we're putting the baby to bed without a diaper. I don't know what's happening here. We have another matchup to refer to here. Texas Tech 63, Michigan 44. Do we need to relive that one? I do not think so. Texas Tech going forward and that defense they have versus Gonzaga and that offense and that just take-home to mom ability of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Sarah, which unit would you rather have?
I want that Gonzaga offense. This is going to be completely decided by pace of the game. If they can stay fast and use a lot of options, they're going to wear out that defense and tire them out. They outperform them in every single offensive category. And yeah, the defense is stronger on the other side, but that gets tired. So if Gonzaga can keep it fast, I'm on that side.
Clint Yates?
And I want my sister to date them too, because scoring.
Rumors of Gonzaga's demise were greatly exaggerated on this program. Everybody was talking about how Florida State was so athletic and all this, that, and the third. Let's not forget who Gonzaga is. And they didn't even play that good of a game. They turned the ball over 14 times. If they can get past a team like that with that offense, I'm fairly certain that they're going to get things back in gear. And I like them to win this game for sure.
Even with Texas Tech having the #1 defensive rating, efficiency-wise, in the country. Mina Kimes, you want to get in here?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with, I think they're my brother-in-law now, Gonzaga. Because, yes, this is a strength-on-strength matchup. Texas Tech's defense was amazing. But Michigan's offense was terrible. 1 for 19 from 3, 0 for 7 on uncontested shots. Yeah. We're not going to see that kind of clunker from Gonzaga. That offense is too good.
And Kalishaw.
I mean, I think there's enough good defensive teams like Houston and some of the others we talked about that people just kind of lump Texas Tech in with them. But I think they're really better and more confusing for teams to play against. So I would take Texas Tech's defense as that weapon I want to have. Now, they've got to play their best offensive game of the year to stay with Gonzaga. I realize that.
Gates after the horn, real quick.
Reminder, Gonzaga beat Duke with Zion. Don't sleep on that.
Yeah, had the highest margin of victory in 20 years in college basketball this season as well. All right, one of the things Kalishaw said there struck me. They're able to confuse them, like that's a good thing. If able to confuse somebody was the road to victory, Woody Page would be averaging more than 21% wins on this show. Wouldn't that be true, Good Kalishaw? Taking a break right here. Buy or sell next. Stick around.
Around the Horn is brought to you by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
Bryce Harper getting booed on day one by Phillies fans. So let's talk about this. Let's hear this one out, all right? That was the second strikeout. He was 0 for the day. And yes, this is day one of 13 years. But do you buy or sell that actually being boos, Mina? If so, does it mean anything? Go ahead.
Tony, I am not an ornithologist. I am not here to analyze the tone and tenor of boo birds, but I can tell there are not very many of them in a crowd of tens of thousands of people. And in the same way that I do not like to publish a single fan burning a jersey when a free agent leaves town because it's not representative of the fan base, I do not think these fans are either.
Tim Kalishaw?
I read one account of the game that said the boos came with a hint of sarcasm. I don't know exactly how you tell that by listening to boos, but I'm going to buy that. I'm going to think that's what happened. I think Philly fans are kind of a parody of themselves at times. Okay, this is where we boo Harper because he struck out. I think they'll love
the sarcastic boo. I didn't see that one coming. Sarah Spain, how about you?
Tony, I am also not an anesthesiologist, but I am not numb to the idea of people booing someone in Philly. And I think they're just trying to establish from day one exactly who they are, and they want him to know that this is what our relationship is going to be like for the next 13 years. It certainly wasn't a whole stadium, but it was enough that anyone saying, I can't tell if there were boos, is lying to themselves.
All right, and Clinton Yates, what are you?
Yeah, they were definitely boos, and they were definitely fair. This is what this guy signed up for. He's talking all this trash about what he's going to do in Philly and how much he loves it, and he's got 2 Ks. Listen, he's hit 5 opening day home runs. This was a poor performance by his own standards in this situation. Who went?
Okay, well, maybe another possibility is Nats fans made the trip, right? I mean, that's not that far for a Nats fan to go just to boom. No one thinks that's
It was full yesterday, and I was there.
Okay.
So, not that many.
Digging
you're
deep.
not an ornithologist or anesthesiologist. I'm not a TV host. I just stated how it in Express for the last 18 years. We'll move on. Also from opening day, the second of 2 opening days this year, but the opening of opening days. So the walk-off, run-off after a catch off the top of the wall. That's how Lorenzo Cain and the Brewers beat the Cardinals. The Dodgers, they had 8 home runs to start the season. Red Sox had the worst opener for a champion ever in baseball history. So, Sarah, what was the other A1 storyline for opening day to you?
That would be Harper, Machado, and Goldschmidt going 0 for on day one. I realize it's just day one, but I calculated the amount of money they were getting paid per game, and that's a combined $502,000 for absolute zilch for that game. And so
you do realize
that stands out to me.
It was just one day, though. You said you realize this, but I'm asking you again. Do you realize that you realize that?
I realized that it was $502,000 to do nothing. I do realize that, yes.
Yeah, it's a good gig if you can get it. Clinton Yates, how about you?
It's definitely the Dodgers going out 8 times for me. Listen, going into this season, there were some concerns about what this is going to mean for this team. Listen, they lost 2 straight World Series on their own field. They had pitching problems between Kershaw and Walker Buehler. Going out like this, it's a good start for Dave Roberts' team. I think this was a very positive situation for the Dodgers overall.
Mina Kimes?
I don't know why you guys are focusing on the Red Sox and not that my Mariners have an MLB best 3 wins.
Yes,
Granted,
I know. I mean, the only team that's 3-0. How do they do it?
But no, I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I'm not delusional. Clinton's right. And the fact that Jock Peterson hit well, 6 different guys hit homers. In contrast with Harper, who obviously many wanted them to go after, it was a nice showing.
Tim Kalisha.
I hate to focus on a sad note, but the Rangers have gotten a lot of publicity for a 2-pound chicken tender called the foul pole they're introducing this year. And they ran out a half hour before the game, which seems to be about the same time they ran out of pitchers who could get out.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not see that one coming. That is the headline from opening day.
sad.
Or Baby Shark. Anybody going to go Elvis Andrews walking out to Baby Shark?
Love that.
I'm here for it, but
yeah.
I'm a biased audience. Okay, fine. Good. We'll move on. One more thing from last night. This is NBA again. Let's go back. Giannis says he feels good. Giannis says he feels good. Bucks fans repeating it over and over right now. The tweak last night after a collision in a 17-point game. Buy or sell that being enough for the Bucks to shut down Giannis until the playoffs, Clinton?
I'm buying every single part of this. Listen, it's not just Giannis's injury, it's Mirotic as well as Malcolm Brogdon. Listen, the Bucks are a relatively, deep team, but they're not the kind of team that can get rid of 3 of their best players and all of a sudden still expect to contend for the NBA Finals. This is very unfortunate for a young team that people wanted to see excel. I'm kind of bummed out that this has turned out this last month of the season for them.
Mina Kimes, you shut down Giannis until the playoffs?
I don't know about shutting him down, but they do need to give him a rest, protect him from himself. They only need 2 wins to hold serve, and they've gone 4-3 without Giannis this year. I think they can go without him for a little bit.
I'd sit him for. I wouldn't send him to Atlanta. That's the next game. No reason to travel in a game you're not playing. Maybe sit him 2 games. I don't think you need to rest him 6, as long as he looks like he's feeling all right.
Yeah, I don't think you need to rest him for the entirety of the rest of the regular season, but I think you do give him a couple games off and get a feel for it. If it's still not healing, if it's still a problem, then you keep sitting him. They have a couple more tough games against the Thunder, 2 against the Nets, who would be their opponent if they slipped. And so, I don't think you could totally put against the idea of sitting if you need to.
Who's sitting right now? Ooh, look at these scores. Tim Kalisha, much like the foul pole out before people really wanted to sink their teeth into it. Isn't that the case, right?
My scoring average.
That's 2 pounds of chicken tender or whatever we call that.
A lot of chicken.
Because that's not really, it's not no real part of the chicken. It's just a massive chicken meat. I don't know what I'm saying here. I was vegan for too long. Mina Kimes, Sarah Spain. Let's sink our teeth into the meat of a showdown next.
This Masters moment.
Actual chicken. Sarah Spain, Mina Kimes, showdown, best of luck. Rockets 112, Nuggets 85 last night. 85 points. What Houston held Denver to. And Austin Rivers thinks with defense like that, they can win the title. Mina, you agree?
I do. He's got a point. And also, the much maligned Rockets defense has been excellent since All-Star break, 2nd in the NBA, 25th before. They're pretty good now.
Yeah, I agree that they will need to play defense like that if they have a chance to contend. I don't necessarily believe that even with defense like that, they'll be consistent enough across the series to beat a team like the Warriors in order to get to the final.
Such a good use of semantics there. Need to, Sarah Spain. Like the daughter of 2 lawyers right there. Here's your point. We move on. Showdown 2, Video Daily Double. McDavid between his legs for the goal yesterday versus Tiger from his knees, left-handed to get out. What's the better shot, Sarah?
I mean, it's clearly McDavid between the legs. He's in motion, spur of the moment, extemporaneously doing that. Anyone who's ever played field hockey knows it's easy enough to flip your stick or your club backwards and tap it on out of there. Tiger.
Tiger was amazing. I mean, did you see what he did? It was like a warlock move. That was the golf equivalent of Pat Mahomes side-arming through traffic. I could not believe he pulled that off.
True, but if you go with the field hockey, that's done every single game 10 times a game. Extemporaneously, heretofore, quid pro quo, the lawyer. That's a great nickname for you. The lawyer. Sarah Spain.
The lawyer. Thank you. AKA the commish. The commission has a ruling now because the Colgate basketball team, instead of bringing their own band to their March Madness game, decided to hire out members of the Ohio State band. So this moment that was intended to be this thrilling and exciting payoff for the members of the Colgate band, just as it is for the basketball team, gets stripped from them, and a whole bunch of excuses are being thrown around. There was even an Ohio State band member who tweeted out how excited he was for the opportunity because Colgate doesn't have a band, is what they were told.
What?
So a bunch of Ohio State kids wearing Colgate gear like frauds, a bunch of Colgate band members left at home, left behind by their school. This is a travesty. We should give them a spot on the show. A FaceTime for the Colgate band now.
I had not heard this, Sarah. Are you serious?
Brutal.
This is true?
Garbage.
Colgate, what are you doing? My sister, a graduate of Colgate. What are you doing? My other sister, Rosemary, and my brother-in-law, Tim, Fordham Pet Band. My niece, Jamie Hoy, Memphis Pet Band. This is how we do it. Respect the Pet Band. Last thing here. Our next show Monday, April Fools. We love being fools here. You're not going to want to miss it. ESPN 2 on Monday. Let's record right now. We'll see you then. April Fools!
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon in Los Angeles. Tony is off, so who